Hello and welcome to this episode of Making a Thing with Tinkercad. So without further ado, let's get started. Here we go, and oh, there it is. Okay, so a work plane, and we're going to make a key tag. So the first thing I'm going to do is drag out a box, and then I'm going to change my snap to grid to 0.5 millimeter, just to make it a little bit easier when I move things. The next thing I want to do is to drag a work plane on top of the box so that anything I add will go on top of there, and I'm going to try and get it as close to the middle as I can, and then I'm going to drag a roof out because I want it to look like a house. More to be revealed. Oh, look at that, it's very Christmassy, it's red and green. I'm just zooming in and it's not lined up, so I'm just going to drag it a bit, and there it is. Zooming back out, if I can remember which way to zoom. Oh, look at it, it's like having a little drone. I'd like a drone one day. I'm going to select all the shape and group it all. So now I've made a shape that looks like that out of 2 individual pieces. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it skinny. So I'm going to change the width, so it's 45 millimeters wide. And then I'm going to change the depth of it. So it's only 2 millimeters, so it's really squished. And then I'm going to lay it down flat by going 90 degrees, I think. Oh, but then it's the wrong way around. Well, that's a big deal. You can easily rotate it around, but I want it the other way, so I'm going to do -90. And boink, there it is. Lovely, but it's still floating in the air, so let's drag it down all the way to 0. I can just enter that there. Boink, there it is. Lovely. So the next thing I'm going to do is put some text onto my keyring. So I'm going to drag the text out, and I think I'm going to drag 2 out because I'm going to do something fun. And you can just change what the text says in that little box, and then underneath you can change the kind of writing, but I like it the way it is. And this is only a little demonstration. You can just shrink it down to however you'd like. Remember, you can hold the shift key to shrink it the same way at the same time. The text. I wonder if I'll leave it as the text. It will be a mystery. Dun, 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 dun. The shed. No, I'm always all about the shed. I'm all about those sheds. So let's. I'm gonna have to do something a little bit strange because wowzers! Look how tall that writing is. I need to shrink it down, and I'm actually going to shrink it down till it is 1 millimeter tall. So it's really skinny. It's as skinny as I wish I was. So here we go. I'm going to do it with the as well. There. Squish down, and now I'm going to raise it. I have to raise it up because otherwise it's just going to go into the center of that housey shape and you won't see it. So I'm going to raise it 2 millimeters off the work plane, and I'm going to do the same with that one. I'm just going to click there. 2. Yay! Hovering text, and then when I drag it over, it doesn't disappear, which is nice, and that's what I like to do. But I think I'm going to do a thing. Right, I want to rotate it a little bit, so I'm just going to spin it around, but I'm rotating it the wrong way. Lucky I caught that. I want that one. That, yay, like that. So it's sort of following the top of the shed line there. I've decided this is my shed. I'm building a keyring of my dream shed that I will own one day, probably when I'm too old to use it. The shed. Now let's drag the word shed, which is also floating in the air, and oh, it fits in there nicely. I might use the align function though. Do I want to use the align function? Maybe I do. Let's see. Put it down, select everything, and oh yes, there's the align function. Boink. Oh, don't like what it did with the. I like what it did with shed, but not the, so I'm just going to move the by hand. And just like that, it's moved back. I think, there we go. Yeah, right about there. I like that. I think that's a good spot for it. So sometimes, even when you use the align function, you can go back and select things. It's a good thing about having 2 bits of text. But now, why have I got a cylinder? Why have I got a cylinder that looks like not a cylinder? It looks like it's going to maybe make a hole. And it is. It's going to make a 5 millimeter hole. And this is where I'm going to put my keyring on, because this is a key tag, so it has to have a hole in it. 5mm is a good size for this. It doesn't matter how tall it is. I'm going to select it all and group them together. Group, yay! And there it is. The shed is going to be 1mm text raised on the top of the keyring. It's going to have a hole in it. Just look at that. I mean, yours could look, you could say anything you want, you know, provided you're happy to share it with anyone that might come into the room and ask you about it. So what are you going to make with your key tag? I don't know. Are you going to make a simple shape, a complicated shape? I wait with bated breath to see what you want to make. Good luck, everyone. Oh, and don't forget to give it a name and save it as an STL so that we can print it off. Well, I can print it off. It's just me, not me and 3 imaginary friends. Oh, I can print it off for you and get it back as soon as possible. Best of luck, everyone. If you're still watching, well done. I just picked this background because I like the, looks like the start of a Bond film or something. I just need a cheesy soundtrack with like Mr. Bad Makes or something. But yeah, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, the other button works just as well and lets me know that I need to find a different thing to make videos about. Have a great day, everyone, wherever you are.